Okay, so yesterday's video I was telling you about this lawnmower here. I've told you about it a few times actually, but yesterday I was showing you that I had all the wiring harness tore apart, and I told you I decided I was going to put a push button start on it, but I realized that I had one of these ignitions. See, both ignitions were bad. One off the John Deere and one off this one were both not working correctly, but I had another one, so I thought I'd give it a try. The only downfall to this is when the key will fall out. So I didn't have, this is the original key to this machine. I didn't have a key to fit the other two switches, so it just falls out, but that's all right. So we'll give it a start, and I can start it with the key now. So that's just fantastic. I love it. So everything works on it. Transmission works. I took around, spun around the yard, and started the blades up. I didn't mow with it, but started the blades up. And so I learned a lot on this job. I didn't record it, but I learned a lot about wiring, how the switch works. I wasn't ever really sure how the switch worked, but now I got a clear idea how it works. And I even had a battery. So the battery I was able to charge up. The alternator basically is what it's called. Works. It's charging the battery. So this is just fantastic. I'm really happy about this. So I washed it up. Carolyn says she likes this one. She wants to keep it, but we can't keep every mower. We kept the Beast, but this one is pretty red. I'm donating this one. I'm not going to sell it. Although Carolyn and I have talked about selling and how we can really try to figure out how to get around this warranty stuff, where people aren't asking me to fix things for free after I sell it to them. So we may get back into that, selling stuff. You know, YouTube just keeps having more and more problems, and I may have to consider more revenue from sources outside of YouTube. You know, that's why we kind of started doing the lawnmower repair hobby business, was so if YouTube had a problem, which it did, I mean, it had a problem, then I still have a source of revenue. So, well, I had an interesting customer come by today. So I'll start from the beginning. I don't know, a couple months ago, somebody stopped in front of the house and was looking at the signs, my repair business signs. And it's got a lawnmower that I refurbished on it, on the sign. It was an old John Deere, 1980 something John Deere I refurbished. Well, I sold that, but I kept the picture of it and I put it on my sign for the business. And they stopped, and she opens up her window. She says, "Yeah, I want that lawnmower that's on the sign." And I said, "Well, that's sold." Wasn't that false advertising? I was advertising the work, not the lawnmower. I never said the lawnmower was for sale. After I sold it, it was just a picture of a lawnmower. So anyway, I'm sure they laughed, so it was obvious they were joking. Well, about maybe 2 weeks ago, this lady calls me and says, "Hey, do you know so-and-so?" Well, no, I don't know. Well, they stopped by a while back and they gave me your number, and I need you to work on a couple things. Okay, so she had these people bring her equipment over to my house. Now they're an older couple, so they bring me a walk-behind weed trimmer and a push mower from Walmart. And the thing is they were left outside. So the weed trimmer, the walk-behind weed trimmer, the head was complete. She gave me a piece that she wanted me to replace on the head, just one piece. But the entire head was seized up. It was the bearings were seized, everything was seized. It was just complete rust. So I ended up having to buy an entire new head for it, the entire assembly, and you just take that one off, put a new one on. It was the only way to do it. I mean, things were breaking as I was trying to get things apart, and it was, well, I mean, so the thing is not every piece needed replaced, specifically the one that she gave me, you know, with multiple pieces in one assembly. So I'm trying to piece all this together, trying to figure out how much it's going to cost. And it was going to be like $200 to get all these pieces replaced. Well, Amazon had the entire assembly for $65. So I just went ahead and bought the assembly. And then also it needed the carburetor cleaned because it had bad gas. And then the Walmart push mower, again, just bad gas. So I ended up having to buy a new carburetor for that Walmart, which was the first time I've ever had to do that. But that's beside the point. So got those two running. The old couple came back, picked up the stuff and gave me my money, and they demanded a receipt. So I said, well, I'll send you a receipt, because, you know, it's easier for me to just do everything electronically because I have a printer. She said, okay, that's fine. Or they said it was okay. So while all this is transpiring, the older couple, the one bringing me the stuff and picking it up, said they had a mower that had a bad deck but a good engine. The deck is completely rusted through. And I said, well, I got a deck over here that you could have. I mean, $20 would probably be the scrap price if you wanted to give me the $20. I could put the motor, I could swap the motor off, no big deal. Yeah, that's a good idea. So, and the thing is they mentioned it both times, that's what they wanted to do, was swap out that. As a matter of fact, the first time we discussed it, I thought they were going to give them money right then and just take the deck with them. So, but then as I'm pulling it across the street, they said, no, we don't have enough money right now. We'll come back when we have enough money. Okay. So today they show up, and he's got two mowers in the truck, and he's older, so he shouldn't be lifting things, but he tries to lift this green push mower out of his truck and set it on the ground. And I get up to it, and it's the rusted out one. So my first thought, oh, they want me to trade out that deck. He says, don't worry about the deck. The deck's fine. Not really. I just need you to get this one running. Well, it had a flat head. It was, you know, it was probably made in the 80s or early 90s. It doesn't have the overhead valve. And I said, oh, this one's pretty old, isn't it? Yeah, it's real old. So I said, well, I can't work on anything over 25 years old. There's just no parts available. He says, no, I want you to work on it. And I said, no, I can't work on it. Okay, so then he starts to pull out the new one. And he says, this one's needs a new priming bulb. Oh, okay. He says, also, this one caught fire. And he starts removing the air filter, and everything is melted. And which is fine. I would have just replaced all that stuff. No big deal. And he says, go ahead and work on that one anyways. And I said, sir, I can't work on it. The parts won't be available. He said, no, I just want you to clean the carburetor. And I said, well, what if that doesn't fix it? Well, just I'll pay you what you think it's worth. And no. So that's two times that he's mentioned it. So he goes back to the other one. Oh, I guess I skipped ahead a little bit. This is the point where he tells me that the lawnmower has caught fire, and he shows me all these. So I've already agreed to work on the newer one because he said it needed a priming bulb. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. So now it's been on fire, and it's like, well, I guess I already agreed to it. And I said, okay, great. So I picked the mower up and I set it on the ground, the newer one, the one that was on fire. And he says, all right, no, go ahead and work on that other one. I want you to fix that one. I said, sir, this is the third time. I'm not working on either one of them. And I picked up the green one, the one that had rusted deck, and it was old. And I put it back in his truck, and I started to pick up the new one. He says, I need a effing mower. And I thought, okay, that's it. No, we're not going to start cussing. And I was really having a problem with the psychology of this. I didn't understand why he was being so adamant that he wanted me to take the green mower, the old mower, the one I said I wasn't going to work on. I can't find parts. But he was, obviously he said it 3 times. He really wanted me to work on it. And I was really struggling with this. Why would anybody risk getting in an argument with a guy who's going to work on your mowers, who's going to work on your friend's mowers, over an old mower that isn't even worth fixing? There's just nothing worth it. And I kept going over it in my head. What did I do wrong? Obviously I did something wrong. I should have just taken it, and all that. You're second guessing myself, because I really have struggled. I struggle with people's, I don't understand them. I say that in these videos all the time. And Carolyn hears me say it probably 30 times a day. I don't get them. I just do not understand people's thinking process. And the reason is because it seems to me almost everybody has some sort of manipulation in mind. There is going to be some sort of lie, and I don't understand lies. I just don't get them. I don't understand manipulation. I know they exist, and I getting better as the older I get of identifying the lies and the manipulation, but I don't always catch it. So Carolyn's listening to her Bible app. She listens to it every day, so I try to be patient. I try not to disturb her during those times. And, I discuss it with her after I guess she cooked breakfast, so she paused her app so we could eat breakfast. And I'm discussing it with her, and I'm talking to her about the why I didn't take the job. And as soon as I told Carolyn that he said, well, I need an effing mower, she said, well, I don't care what he said before. Once he said that, there was no reason to take the mower, which she and I agree. There's just no reason to be cussing. You're asking a guy to work on a mower, and then you're going to start using, F-bombs and all this. And no, this is a Christian neighborhood. I have Christian values. I have conservative values. Let's not be cussing in public. I mean, every now and then we'll get mad at something, at the lawnmower or whatever, and I'll throw something out once in a while, but never while I'm in a conversation, or usually it's just out of frustration, but not in public and not to total strangers. I just don't. So kind of enforce that rule on myself. So, when he starts cussing, I realize, okay, this is getting out of hand. So I shake his hand, say, thank you, sir, and I walk away. And, after breakfast, Carolyn went back to her Bible app. And then when she was done with her Bible app, I said, yeah, I just don't get this. Why would anybody go through this? I mean, she said, well, he said in his ways. And I said, well, okay, that's fine. But, I'm getting up to the age now where I'm kind of set in my ways. I'm not going to work on something. And what made him think he was going to win this argument, if that's what you want to call it, but for lack of a better word, argument, there was no way he was going to win. I said no. I meant no. And what was he going to do? Put my arm behind my back? Yes, you are. No. Is he going to cuss his way into me? Oh, gosh, you said the F-bomb. I'll take it right now. No, that just enforced whatever he was thinking about him. I thought he was going to be a problem. And sure enough, he started throwing out the F-bomb, and yep, he's a problem. So I said, I just didn't get it. Why wouldn't anybody who is stubborn in their ways still push a conversation to the point where they're going to lose business not only for themselves, but for their friend? It's most likely their friend is never going to be able to use me again because they bring her stuff down to me. And Carolyn said, well, he was manipulating you. He knew you weren't going to work on that. He knew you'd take it and you'd look at it and you'd tell him, hey, it's not worth fixing, and then you'd fix the other one, and then he would say, well, why don't you keep that green one, that old one, and knock off some money off the good one? Yep, that's exactly what he was going to do. He already knew that one wasn't going to run. He knew it was too old to work on. originally let's fix the mower deck, and now let's not fix the mower deck, and now let's just fix the engine. He was going to give me his garbage and expect it to be profitable for him. Oh no, you can keep that green one. And how much did you want for that other one, that new one? Oh, you want $50? Sure, okay, yeah, just keep that green one. How is that even a fair trade? But that's exactly what he was thinking. Remember, he said they didn't have the money, so obviously they don't have the money to get mowers worked on or get a new mower. So they were going to just make me take his junk. Yep, once again, manipulation. This is why I don't understand people. This is why I don't hang around people, because everybody seems like I run across, the back of their mind is, I'm going to try to figure out how to take advantage of this situation. And I'm just not playing that game. So if you'll click this up next box and take to video on my other channel, I really appreciate it. Go check it out. So if I can inspire you to not be manipulated, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.